job for that summer of 1952 between the sophomore and junior years. And he said, well, I have a job up in Quincy. I'm not going to use it this year. I'm going to go some other direction. Do you want it? I said, well, sure, I'll take it. So he and I went up, and he checked me in with the leader of the person that ran the show, and they hired me. So I had a job for the whole summer. And then he said, well, let's go and see my family. They live here. So I went over and parked out in front, and all of a sudden this gorgeous, beautiful woman comes out of the front door. I could not believe it. She was something else. Talk about love at first sight. I don't know about her, but I sure was smitten. Anyway, we got to dating during the summer when I was working up there, and by the end of summer, we were definitely an item. We had 2 more years to finish up college, and she was at Chico State getting her teacher's diploma, and I was at Cal getting my civil engineering diploma. So needless to say, for a couple of years I was burning up the road trying to get out and be up with her. Anyway, towards the end of the senior year, I decided I just better get busy and pop the question. So I said, honey, will you marry me? She said, sure. She says, but she said, and one thing I want to ask you about, I read a book. Swiss Family Robinson, and in it they had 4 sons, and I liked the book. I liked what they did, and so I said, she says, what do you think? Could we have 4 sons? I said, sure, why not? I said, I think anything that we try to do together, the we thing, is going to work. We're going to accomplish all kinds of things as long as we say we're doing it, not I or you. So she said, that's fine, okay. So in 1954, she and I were married in Chico, and the next thing I had to do was to get a job. So I had been talking with Bridge Department of the Division of Highways. I went in, checked in with them, and they hired me. JCE was the title, and it was $376 a month. Now, I hadn't seen that kind of money in my whole life. And it piled up in one. I didn't know how I was going to spend all that kind of money. Anyway, they sent me down to Santa Maria. Us, now I got to say us. Sent us down to Santa Maria. Everything we owned was in the back trunk of the car, and we stayed there for 6 months. She was got a job as a teaching assistant, and I was building bridges on the state highways. So at the end of that time, we were given, they put me on active duty. I was a ROTC candidate in Cal, Berkeley, and so you had to do 2 years. So my 2 years was coming up, and it hit on the end of the 6 months. So I'm to report to Fort Belvoir, Virginia, dead of winter, and were there for 6 months. When we got about halfway through, Joy got pregnant. And so it looked like the first son, first person, don't know what it was at that time, would
That's my hand.
show up pretty quick. The next thing I heard was that we were going to Bordeaux, France, to work on a airfield that was had been bombed during World War II. Right at that time, Korea was going on. So everybody else went that way. I went to Bordeaux, France. So I dodged that bullet. So I went, we went over to Paris, got my car, and went down to Bordeaux and started work. And Joy delivered Richard over here, and he was number one, and in December of 1955, and 10 months later, Mark was born. It can happen. And so he was born in October of 1956. So 2 down and 2 to go. So we finished up there in at the end of December, October, and 3 months later they sent us home. I had done my 2 years, and I was through. So we went home on the USS United States. It was in December, and this is the upper end of the Atlantic Ocean. And as I remember, it was a pretty rough ride. The only thing that didn't happen is we didn't get hit by an iceberg. We made it home, and when we got home, my mother came out and helped Joy and the boys to get home, and her father, Ed Sr., came out and helped me get my car home, and we made it home for the holidays. Right after the holidays, I went into Bridge Department, and they welcomed me back and said that you're going on the Petaluma Creek Bridge in upper San Francisco Bay. And that was the biggest bridge I'd seen under construction. All of mine were little tiny things up until the 20 years we've been out there. But anyway, it was a quarter mile long. It was 4 lanes wide, and it was 85 feet high over the water. So I worked there for 2 years, and Joy was pregnant again. And so along 8 months along, I fell off the bridge and wound up in the hospital at Santa Fe for a month. She took the kids up and led it with her mother and father up in Red Bluff, came back and sat with me and helped me get back on my feet for the whole month. 2 weeks later, Kenneth comes along. So that's 3 out of 4. And then we headed north again, and guess what? Hit Napa, and Lauren is born. So you see, by working together, we accomplished what we tried to do. Now, the Swiss Family Robinson, they just wrote about it. We did it. Okay, next we go up to Reading, and when I got to Reading, they were starting the I-5 program, and so I could see we were going to be there for a while. So we bought our first house. After 20 years on the road, we bought something, and bought something else. We had always thought about having some kind of a home in the mountains, so we bought a piece of land up in Trinity County on 1968, and right after that, the six of us started building our cabin. And we had that cabin for 55 years. I sold it here a couple of years ago because I just couldn't keep it up any longer, and it needed it. So Richard had a saying, if you're lucky enough to have a cabin in the mountains, you're lucky enough. And we were. We enjoyed that cabin right clear up to the end. Something else we did, we went on a windjammer cruise. That's down in the Caribbean, and they're wooden vessels, 3 or 4 masts, canvas sails, and they go from little island to little island. And we went, I think we went 4 or 5 times. Gave us the idea that we wanted to go foreign travel. But that was down the road a little bit. After a while there, we were sent to Sacramento, and we bought another house in Foothill Farms. Joy had a preschool there. I don't know, some preschoolers are here. Was it there that you? Wonderful. Thank you for coming. She taught preschool there for quite a while. Started a lot of young people on the road to education. It was time for us to retire. So we were both 58 years old. I'd worked for the bridge department for 36 years, and it was just time to hang up my slide rule. And but we didn't want to retire in Foothill Farms. That was a good place for the high school where the kids were going, but we wanted someplace other than that. So Joy looked at the newspaper and found a little one-liner, and it was just one line in the one ad section of the paper, talking about this new home, about the right price, with a view. And I thought, Folsom's got a view? We better go look at this place. We fell in love with it. That place was just the most wonderful home you could ever imagine. It was our home. And that was in 1986. And if you do the math, that's 40 years ago. So we've been in that home for 40 years. So the other thing that we did when we were in Folsom is we became docents at the Folsom Powerhouse State Historic Park. And that is a wonderful place. She ran the gift shop and I ran the tours. And if you haven't ever been there, take time to go see it. It is really an interesting place. That's about the time we started traveling worldwide. I took pictures wherever we went, and then Joy would put them together in an album at home when we got back, so we could look at them. I counted them up the other day. There was 40 of them. We went to 40 different countries worldwide in about 20 years. I won't bore you with where we went. Just throw a dart at the wall and you'll probably hit a place that we went. Then the next thing that we figured we better do is see the United States. And so we bought a fifth wheel RV, Harvey the RV, and we went traveling all over the United States. First place we went, of course, was in the lower 48, and back and forth, coast to coast. Finally, we saw all 48 of the states. Next, we had to go up to Alaska and get that one on the book. And so we hired into an outfit that took RVs, motorhomes, up to Alaska from the manufacturer down here, down in the lower 48. So we got a chance to go up, and you could make it in 4 days, but they gave us 2 weeks. And so we could have plenty of time to see all of the places that you could go in Alaska. And at the same time, Ken and Sally were in Hawaii, and they were in the submarine unit of the Navy in Pearl Harbor. And so we'd go see them, and then when we were through seeing them, we'd rent a car and go find an island and check it out. So we actually have been in all 50 states of the United States. About 5 years ago, Joy was told she had Parkinson's disease, and that is an awful disease to have. There's no cure for it. The cure is death at the other end. And so we started looking at the house that we loved and lived in and said, no, you can't live here anymore. It's just too dangerous. So we moved her into a assisted living unit, Oakmont, there in Folsom. And that, if you ever need that, for you or a family member or a friend, check it out. That is a wonderful location and staff that runs that outfit. We had the best of care. Then, speaking of care, Joy went into hospice and tailed down, and on January the 4th, she passed away. I had her cremated. Both of us are going to be, I'm going to be cremated too. And so when last Friday, we took her ashes down to the Veterans Cemetery down in Dixon and found a mausoleum and a crypt. And it's interesting, it's one of the few that faces the setting sun. So she's going to be able to see a sunset every night. Mark, Tammy's Mark, passed away some time ago. He's there, and Ed Delano is also there, and his wife Karen. So you see, Ed followed us from beginning to end. He was there the whole way. Joy and I were married 71 and a half years. She was 93, and I'll be 94 next month. So we had a full life. We saw a lot of things. We accomplished a lot of things. We is the operative word here. You and I did a couple of things wrong. I fell off a bridge, and she got Parkinson's. Other than that, we spent our life together doing things. And I'm sad, of course, but she just didn't need to hurt anymore. And we had a full life, and a lot of good friends that showed up here today, and I really appreciate it. I'm going to open this up now to anybody that wants to add something.